Hi, this is Cynthia Horner from Right on Digital, and I am here with Arash DeMaxi, and he is going to talk to us today about his role on Irrational. So, welcome to the platform, and congratulations on season number 2. So, can you ta- tell me a little bit about the backstory, how you were originally cast for the series?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Cynthia. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I auditioned for this from New York in May, I want to say, of 2022. And it was just a tape. And then a week or two later, I heard that I got a call back. And then suddenly I got another email saying that that's been bumped up to a producer session that I did over Zoom. So suddenly I was really excited and nervous and all the things. And I had the producer session. And within a few days, I was on a plane to Vancouver to shoot our pilot. So it really happened quite fast. I think I've heard that I was one of the last actors to be cast on the show, so maybe some other people had a little bit more time to prepare, but I just jumped right into it. But I like doing things that way. Makes me not overthink. So yeah, I just jumped right in, and then yeah, waited to get picked up, and here we are. It was hearing that I got the role was one of the best days of my life for sure.
Wow. And
Mhm.
on such a great network, I mean, there's so many viewers. What kind of reaction do you get from people who've seen you on the street and recognized you?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, people are big fans of the show. A lot of people know The Irrational. A lot of people love Jesse L. Martin. And I think it's really cool that we're a network show that, airs on prime time, but we're also on Peacock because I know a lot of people my age maybe don't have cable, but they are watching Peacock. So the show is available to people of all ages. And it's just been so cool to be involved with the project for this long, and to work with Jesse L. Martin and the rest of such a talented cast. I mean, yeah, it's been so awesome.
Now, you've been on several other prominent television series, although, of course, this here is obviously the biggest because of the fact that there's more longevity here.
Yep.
But what would you say are some of the secrets to your success? Because there are so many people out here that would love to get on network TV, and the competition is just really fierce.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think step one would be to get experience, which could just be training. I mean, I went to acting school, just understanding how to approach a role, how to do an audition, how to be in front of camera, how to, I think that's step one is really just knowing your work and your craft before you get into getting lucky and networking and all the other things that go into it. I think you got to have a solid grasp on your craft. I do think that's the first step. And then, I heard this thing recently where they said luck is preparation meets opportunity. And that really rang a bell for me. I feel like I subscribe to that theory. I don't think I believe in just pure luck. I think luck happens when you're ready. You don't know when it's going to happen. It works on its own agenda. But I think that just be prepared and persevere. I think you got to be in it for the long haul. You can't just be like, I'll go to LA or New York for 6 months, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll tap out. It's like that's not how it works. Like you gotta be in it for the long run. And yeah, I think all those things help a lot.
Everything you say has really resonated with me because I know so many people that thought all they had to do was go to LA, for instance, for a few months. And
Yeah.
like you said, if it didn't work out, just leave. And you're not giving, you're planting seeds, but you're not allowing these seeds to grow.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you do have to be in it for the long haul.
Yes.
Now, what would you say are some of the reasons why the Rational has been such a success with the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, first thing that jumps into my mind is Jesse L. Martin. We're so lucky to have him leading this show. With the amount of talent and experience that he has, I think we're in really good hands. I think that so much of this show's success is just thanks to him. We've had so many great writers and directors, camera crew. I mean, everyone that I've worked with is on the top of their game, and there's no one that is kind of slacking. And I think, that makes for a good show. And I think that that is uh, why we've been able to have the success that we've had so far. And yeah, we just have a really good team going. And I think what makes the show unique in comparison to other crime procedurals is that we have that psychology twist, and each crime becomes a sort of lesson in the classroom and with experiments. And I get to be a big part of that, which has been so exciting and thrilling for me. And I think that, yeah, that aspect of the show makes the show unique and therefore contributes to its success.
Hmm. Now let's talk about your character.
Yeah.
Your character, you're like an assistant. So, can you tell me how that character was developed? Did you kind of base your character on people that you knew, or did you do any research that would accompany what the screenplay writers and directors would have had?
Yeah, so psychology has always been a big part of my life. My mom's a psychologist, so it's always been something that's interesting for me. I say that if I wasn't an actor, I would probably go into psychology. So just the material in general is something that I'm already fascinated by, and that definitely helps a lot. My part-time job out of school, acting school, is I was an administrative assistant at actually a nonprofit that trained therapists in a modality of therapy called EFT, if you're familiar, emotionally focused therapy. So, yeah, playing that role of an assistant to a psychologist is actually something I've done in real life. I mean, it wasn't the same. There was less murders in real life, thank God. But yeah, so that was really cool. And then my one recurring role before I got this was I was a paralegal on the show Partner Track, and I played the assistant to a lawyer in that as well. So I guess like at my age and the kind of roles I'm going out for right now, the assistant thing wasn't brand new to me. But I'm excited to see how that continues to develop. And yeah, all of those things kind of led to me feeling ready for this.
Wow, that is so interesting. Such a coincidence that
Yeah.
you're playing a role that you actually had a specific interest in. That doesn't happen very often. I'm sure your family must have been pleasantly surprised when you booked the job.
Yeah, they love the material. They love what it's about. I mean, yeah, that's definitely not true for every project, but it is for this one. So feeling really, really thankful for that.
Hmm. And what kind of hours do you typically spend on the set, or does it depend on what episode they're planning to work on that during that time period?
Yeah, it totally depends on the episode. It varies a lot. I wouldn't say that the hours are consistent. I think there are some episodes where maybe I'm doing an experiment at WIFA, and that'll be maybe like a day or two of filming, and the rest of the episode doesn't feature Rizwan as much. But then there are some episodes where, let's say, Alec brings Rizwan with him on the case, on the field, and those episodes keep me really busy. Those will be episodes where I'll work pretty much every day. So it definitely varies. And yeah, each week I'm excited to get the next episode and see what we're getting into next. So yeah, totally fluctuates.
Oh, okay. Now, how can people follow you on social media so
Mhm.
they can say hi and comment?
Yeah, I'm actually not on Instagram anymore. I was for a while, but I'm not on Instagram anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, not too big on social media these days. I think a couple years ago, I kind of got tired with it, but I guess the social media for actors is IMDb. I know it's not exactly the same, but that's kind of how I use to track other actors I meet. And so I think if people wanted to follow my work, I think IMDb would kind of be where I would yeah, say to go, but Instagram specifically, I'm not on. I guess I do have a TikTok, but I'm not super active on it. So yeah, I kind of like the idea of letting the work be what people see and not necessarily like all the other things I'm doing in my personal life, like what coffees I'm drinking or stuff like that. So I do think
Right.
it's possible to still like follow my work, but I think it's exciting for me to kind of just have my characters out there and not necessarily like all my personal things. And a huge role model for me is actually Oscar Isaac. And I know he's not really on social media either. So he kind of seeing and following his career kind of made me realize that like maybe you don't necessarily need an Instagram. I'm sure it helps in some ways, but I don't I would argue that it's maybe not necessary for actors, and actually makes it a little more interesting when you don't know who they are, and then it kind of allows you to buy their characters more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like the fact that you want your work to speak for itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the interview with Right on Digital and continued success with your career. And we hope to connect with you again with other projects.
Thanks, Cynthia. Hope to speak to you
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Goodbye.